Good afternoon, guys. I hope this question of the week finds you well. Thank you for all the questions. That's really brilliant to receive all of those. And because I couldn't choose one, what I thought I'd do is answer all of them, but I'll do it during the week. So I'll answer one today, but the two that were very similar. So one from Paula and one from Christie. And then I will next week just find some time to come in every day. And I might do this up until the Freedom Program launches on the 23rd of January. So that you get a chance to have all of your questions answered. And then once that's established and we've got everyone in that program, I'll go back to answering one question a week. I thought all of the questions were really, really good. So I hope that's all right. And obviously, I just want to reiterate, if you join my She Finds Freedom program, you get access to my circle group as soon as you sign up. There are 2 payment plan options and one pay in full option. I'm happy to talk to anyone about that, about anything to do with the Freedom Program. If you have any questions about it, we start on the 23rd of January. So in a couple of weeks. Alternatively, if that's not calling you, you can join my circle community for $24.99 per month. And I do monthly Ask Me Anythings, where I'll do a whole hour of answering the questions that come through. And usually they're super, super helpful for people. On top of that, I do group coaching and other things, which you can see on the information link. So for the purpose of this question of the week, Paula asked, how can I mentally prepare myself for an interview on Monday so my inner demons don't get in the way and convince me that I can't get the job? And then Christie asked, my question is not unlike Paula's. I'm in court on Monday, giving evidence and being cross-examined. I was physically assaulted by a male neighbour a few months ago, and he also damaged my property. I'm feeling a lot of fear and have a huge sense of dread about being on the witness stand, as well as fretting about the outcome. What can I do to help myself get through the next few days and Monday? Thank you, Charli. So they are quite similar, and I will speak to each one in turn and then try and weave them together. I'm excited that there are so many questions coming in now for these questions of the week, because it is something I just absolutely love doing. So how can you mentally prepare yourself for an interview on Monday, Paula? I would say, I would ask yourself, like, do you need to mentally prepare yourself for an interview? Because what I imagine you have, Paula, is an interest in the job that you've gone for. I imagine that you know the company that you've applied to work for. And I imagine that you have some sense of having been interviewed before and how these things tend to go. And I imagine that you're asking the question from the perspective of, I tell myself I'm not good enough. Because you have used the words, how can I mentally prepare myself for an interview so my inner demons don't get in the way and convince me that I won't get the job? Because you are already doing that, and you're forward looping, if you like, into a future case scenario, i.e. on Monday, where you're telling yourself already that you're not getting the job. So you're asking the question from the perspective of, I'm not going to get the job. That's already been established in your mind, and you're calling it the inner demons. I might call it the little fucker, or Justin Bieber, or your conditioning. Your conditioned mind tells you usually the worst case scenario. And if we don't feel good enough we will find evidence for that theory. So if I don't feel good enough, I have what's called a forward feedback loop, right? So I'm not going to get the job and whatever, which means when we come to the actual interview, and this will be the same for you, Christie, you're so nervous and you're so anxious, and that activation of your stress response is heightened, that in that state we tend to be panicked. This is what causes panic and panic attacks. It's that activation of the stress response over and over and over again. Now, in Paula's case, she's got an interview on Monday. In Christie's case, she's got a court case on Monday. Both of these future events are somehow making you both feel something now. And that's very interesting even in itself to get curious about, because how can future events make you feel anyway now in this moment? They can't. And so what we then have to establish is that this future event is something that's being created in my mind as a movie that's being played out with negativity bias, which is what our brain is programmed to be. Like, it's programmed to remember the bad things. And I don't feel good enough. So you've got this negativity bias and this conditioned belief, I don't feel good enough. So those two are kind of running the show, if you like, in the background. Meanwhile, now, in this very moment, right now, you need to ask yourself, am I okay? And is this happening now? My guess is you're fine now. And the future event, which is coming on Monday, that will happen on Monday, isn't happening now. So any future movie that plays out about a future event is made up, is an illusion, and you will never know what's coming on Monday. You can make up a story about what you think is coming, and often we'll make up a story with us as a nervous, anxious, frightened human. And what I want you to remember is, if you literally ask yourself that question now again, in this moment, am I okay? Yes. In this moment, you're always okay. Now, in an event which is going to happen, i.e. Paula's got an interview, Christie's got a court case, in that moment, if I'm out of my fear and dread, as Christie says, dread is something, I'm dreading a future event, which means I'm feeling something about that future event, but I'm feeling that now. So it's a bit like I'm excited for Christmas. I personally love Christmas. I get excited for Christmas. So I'm excited about a future event. So I might have lots of imagined visions about what that Christmas might look like, and I get excited. Excitement is exactly the same as dread, as fear, as nervousness. It's the same system being activated physiologically. It's my relationship to it that changes my experience of it. Hence why these questions, which are very similar, are talking about a future event, which Paula and Christie both have fear around for very different reasons. One is an interview and one is a court case. Both of them have what I can only imagine in the mind of the women who ask the questions. They want an outcome. They're attached to an outcome. And that's me imagining that potential. So Paula's attached to getting the job. Christie's attached to winning the court case, both with a sense of dread and fear about how they're going to show up in a moment, and telling themselves a lot of stories based on their experience of themselves, of their past, that tell them that they're not good enough and that things could potentially go wrong. So in this moment right now, are you okay? Yes. You were built as a human being, as we all were, to thrive in a moment. It's why you'll know what to do in a moment of something happening, which is out of your control or out of your planned day. You'll always know what to do. It's why in emergency situations, you'll often hear, there's been a hero of some description who might have run in and saved a child or an animal or something. And the interviewer's always afterwards like, oh, how did you know? And what were you thinking when you went up to rescue? And you'll always hear the person say, I don't know. I just did it. And that's because in a moment as a human being, you have an incredible gift to know absolutely what to do in every moment if you're not worrying and ruminating and playing out different movies and activating that stress response, scaring the shit out of yourself. So, Paula, what I want to say to you is your inner demons are lying to you. All of that conditioning is lying to you. It's a little fucker. It's not telling you the truth. It wants things to stay the same. And so obviously a different interview would be a new job, would be activating your brain to tell you not to go and all of the things. But it's not telling you anything that's true. In this moment, Paula, are you okay? Yeah. The demons are called demons for a reason. It's called a little fucker for a reason. It's not telling you the truth. You are more than capable of doing this interview. And if you can stay present, going back to my piece that I wrote about last week, or I spoke about, ask yourself in every moment of now, what do you want and what do you need? You don't need some little fucker in your head telling you can't do the job or whatever it might be. We'll all have our own version of that, right? We had someone in our circle community just recently go through the same thing, was going for a different job interview, was worried, was scared, but she nailed it and got that job interview, and we celebrated with her. And of course, we get out of our own way. We know what to say in a moment because you were born with intelligence. You were born with wisdom. You're not separated from that ever. And with you, Christie, you will be doing the same thing, but for different reasons, playing out different situations because you've either been cross-examined before or you've watched something on the TV. So you have an experience in your mind that you play out like a movie. And because it's a future event that's being kind of imagined, you feel that now whilst you're thinking about this future event. And if you've got attachment to the outcome and not trusting yourself, it's going to feel heavy. And I would really encourage you to, again, ask yourself if you're okay right now in this moment. And have some trust in yourself that you had the courage to go through this in the first place, to do whatever you needed to do to get this case to court. That takes courage in itself. And if you can remember that and remember those parts of you that have always known what to do, you can trust that in a moment you'll know what to say and the outcome will be out of your hands, but you'll be fine standing there if you're not in a movie about getting it wrong or whatever you're creating in this moment right now, which is all we're ever doing when we feel anxious. We're creating an outcome based on our experience of the past. We have no idea what's coming in the future. None. And anxiety and worry are all about the future, but we've only got the past in our brain to create a story from. Trust yourselves, both of you. What can you do to help yourself get through the next 3 days, Christie? Trust yourself. Ask yourself in every moment, what do I need right now? And energetically fill that space for yourself. You don't need to do anything. You will live every moment as you do. You have got everything that you need already inside of you. And ultimately, you'll do the best that you can see to do. But do things that you love to do. Take care of yourself over the next few days, both of you. Take a bath, put some nice moisturizer on, move, walk in nature. Do something that makes you feel special, that makes you feel nourished, so that you feel you are taking care of your needs and you're not reliant on getting the job or having a certain thing go a certain way to be okay, because you're okay anyway. Okay? I hope that was helpful. I'm going to keep an eye on these questions, and I'm going to try and answer one per day until the 23rd of January. I might not get that many. I'll ask again next week for the question of the week. If I don't get one next Friday, I'll use one of these if I haven't answered them all. All of these questions were good. All of them. So please know I will be answering all of them at some point over the next few days, not over the weekend, but, from Monday onwards. So have a great day, guys. Please have a look at joining my Finding Freedom program, because I can help you with all of this. It's so much simpler than you think. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.